poor girl finds Billionaire's wallet and he falls in love, but she's hiding a secret. In a bustling corner of Los Angeles, Layla was a girl of 17, earning a meager living at a local cafe. Her dark hair, unkempt and wild, framed a face marred by uncertainty. A worn-out backpack was her only possession, filled with dreams far too big for her reality. One fateful morning, while scouring the park for discarded bottles, she stumbled upon a sleek black wallet. Its opulent leather glimmered even under the dull morning sun. "Wow, what's this?" she muttered, curiosity piqued. Little did she know, the wallet belonged to Malik Al-Faheem, a billionaire sheikh residing in a mansion that towered above the city. His estate, perched on the hills, reeked of wealth. Exotic scents from his botanical gardens mingled with the luxurious aroma of fresh jasmine and marzipan wafting from the sprawling kitchen. Malik's laughter echoed through the marble halls as he strolled through his opulent home. An art collection worth millions adorned the walls, while chandeliers dripped crystals that captured the vibrant sunlight. For him, life was curated perfection, with staff attending to every need. As Layla flipped open the wallet, her heart raced. Inside was not just cash, but a gold credit card glinting like the sun. Where would such riches come from? She felt a tremor of excitement mixed with fear. "I can't keep this. It's not mine," she whispered, her hands trembling. In that moment, a gust of wind rustled the trees, carrying with it the faint sound of laughter. Malik was hosting a lavish soiree. Artists, influencers, and diamonds danced to the moonlight. A spark of ambition ignited within Layla. She envisioned a life beyond her wildest dreams. What if? She hesitated, unable to voice her thought. Later that evening, Layla found herself outside the mansion's towering gates, wallet clasped tightly in hand. The sounds from within were intoxicating, a medley of orchestral melodies and chattering voices. A deep breath filled her lungs. She might just return it. Suddenly, the grand doors swung open. Malik stepped out, charisma radiating around him, his eyes searching the crowd. Layla's heart pounded. He was more striking in person, tall and commanding, surrounded by an aura she could never understand. "I lost my wallet. Who had it?" he called, frustration lacing his words. Caught up in the moment, Layla stepped forward, but an icy grip of fear held her back. What would he think if he learned of her life? She could barely pay the rent of her shared room. "Excuse me, sir," she dared to shout, gripping the wallet so tightly her knuckles went white. As she took a step closer, their gazes locked. The world around them faded. She felt vulnerable. Yet there was an undeniable spark. But before she could say anything more, Malik's expression changed. "Who are you?" The crowd hushed, turning toward her with a mix of curiosity and surprise, as secrets hung heavy in the air. "Hey, before we dive back into this amazing story, I've got an important warning. Lots of subscribers told me YouTube removed their subscription without notice. Take a second to check the red button below and make sure you're still subscribed. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming up. And while you're there, smash that powerful like button. It really helps with the algorithm. Let me know in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love meeting every awesome person in this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact." Malik's eyebrows knitted together, confusion mixed with frustration. "Who are you?" he repeated, louder now. Fire flickered in his gaze. Layla's heart raced. Was this it? The moment she dreamt of, stepping into a new life. But fear devoured that thought. Her hands shook around the wallet, nerves coursing through her. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. The crowd whispered. Eyes bored into her, sizing her up. Some laughed, but all she felt was the weight of their judgment. I have your wallet," she managed, voice small. Malik took a step forward, keen, interest sparking in his eyes. There was something different about the way he looked at her. His expression softened, just a little. "You found it? Where?" Suddenly, a woman from the crowd broke in. Tall, impeccably dressed, with a voice as sharp as a dagger. "Layla?" The name hung in the air, heavy as lead. Criminals, outcasts, ghosts of her past swirled in her mind. "You know her?" Malik shot back, tension crackling between them. The woman smirked, her gaze filled with something that sent chills down Layla's spine. "I should have guessed you'd be here. Didn't you learn anything from the last time?" Gasps rippled through the crowd. Layla's mouth dropped open. What was going on? The world spun. Colors faded into muted shades. This was not happening. "What do you mean?" Malik demanded, harsh and cutting. Layla took a step back, panic settling in her chest. She needed to leave, to escape this nightmare unfolding. But she was stuck, frozen in place. The woman stepped closer, mouth curling into a knowing smile. "Layla has a history, darling. A life of deception. I wouldn't trust her if I were you." Those words stabbed like a knife. Layla felt as if the ground had opened beneath her. "No, that's not true," she cried out, desperation clawing at her. But doubt flooded Malik's eyes. "Is it?" he murmured, his voice low. People were murmuring now, glancing towards her with fresh suspicion. The swell of the crowd felt suffocating. Layla's heart raced. "You don't know me!" she shouted, tears prickling at the corners of her eyes. "I found your wallet. That's all." Malik's jaw tensed. "You didn't answer my question. What is your history?" The crowd sucked in a collective breath. Silence wrapped around them, thick as fog. "I'm not," Layla hesitated. Should she say it? The truth would destroy her. But here she was, in front of a billionaire sheikh, and he deserved to know. "Layla, let's not play games," the woman pressed, voice dripping with malice. The world around her blurred. Layla looked at Malik, his eyes fierce, searching hers. Then it hit her. The secret that had haunted her for years. The truth that could break her. "I'm not who you think I am," she whispered, the lump in her throat thick, choking her words. The crowd leaned in closer, tension palpable. Would she spill it all? Would she dare? Then, without warning, alarms began blaring in the distance. Red lights began flashing outside the gates. "What is happening?" Malik barked, as chaos erupted. Layla's breath hitched. Her secret could wait. But what was the threat now? As she turned to look, armed guards rushed into view. A sense of dread swelled. The woman's smirk vanished. "They're here for you," she hissed, eyes wide with panic. Malik's face twisted in disbelief. Layla felt a rush of terror. What did they want? What would happen next? Everything spun out of control. Chaos erupted around them. Layla stood frozen. The sound of alarms pierced her ears. Heart racing, she glanced at Malik. His expression spiraled from confusion to fury. He turned to her, demanding answers. "What do you mean they're here for you?" His voice boomed, like a crack of thunder in the night. She felt her chest tighten. What had she done to attract such attention? The crowd stirred, whispers washing over her like cold waves. "Layla?" A woman called again, voice dripping with malice. Everyone turned to the newcomer. She stood tall, eyes shimmering with satisfaction. Malik's gaze flicked toward her, then back to Layla. "What's happening?" He was close now, anger radiating off him. "Please," Layla's voice shook. "I don't know what she means." The woman smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. "Oh, but you do, sweet girl. All those rumors, they follow you." Rumors? Panic clawed at her throat. The lies that had haunted her were back, twisting into an ugly reality. She had buried her past, but here it stood, tall as a skyscraper. "I thought you left it behind." The woman continued, her eyes mocking. "Those charges, the issues with the law, they never really go away, do they?" Sickening heat rushed to Layla's face. She battled the urge to flee. "But Malik cut her off. "Is this true? Were you in trouble with the law?" His voice was low but fierce, like a storm brewing. Eyes filled with doubt. She had to explain. But how? Butterflies swarmed in her stomach. "Please, let me—" Another alarm blared, this one louder. It made the crowd flinch. The guards closed in, weapons drawn, eyes scanning for a target. Layla's heart raced with dread. This couldn't be about her. She hadn't done anything wrong since coming here. "Layla," Malik insisted, his tone softening but still sharp. "Tell me the truth." The weight of her silence felt heavy, choking her. She wanted to scream, to run, to disappear. Could she truly share her secret? Would it push Malik away? "Layla!" The woman stepped closer, lips curling. "Just admit it. You always knew they'd come for you." A collective gasp rose from the crowd. The eyes around her widened with intrigue and judgment. "What have you done?" Malik's voice turned icy. Tears prickled at the corner of Layla's eyes. Desperation surged within her. She didn't want to drive him away. Could she risk losing what little she had? "I just found your wallet," she cried, hands trembling. "I swear that's all." The guards had breached the gates. There, presence suffocating. Close, too close. Malik's expression hardened, transforming into a mask of disbelief. "Then why are they looking for you?" She couldn't breathe. The truth tangled in her throat. A crash echoed as the guards shouted orders. Malik's gaze snapped toward the chaos, momentarily distracted. In that split second, an officer shouted, "We're searching for a fugitive, Layla Sinclair. Step forward." Panic froze Layla in place. Her last name? How did they know? A frigid dread slid down her spine. Malik turned back, incredulous. "What are you involved in, Layla?" All eyes were on her, watching, judging. The truth clawed at her insides. Just then, a familiar face burst from the crowd. A dark figure she'd hoped to forget. "Layla, you can't run from this!" Her breath caught. Voices buzzed in her ears. The room felt like it was closing in. This wasn't just about the wallet anymore. Malik's eyes widened, realization dawning. You know her? Terror flooded her senses. The world spun. What had she done? Instinctively, she took a step back. Alarm bells faded into the background as uncertainty loomed over her like a storm cloud. Would she face the nightmare of her past? Would Malik ever look at her the same again? Everything she had fought for hung in the balance. A life she dreamed of was slipping through her fingers like sand. Layla! The figure echoed. You can't hide forever. And just like that, the ground shifted beneath her. The figure pushed through the crowd, eyes blazing. It was a face Layla recognized. Derek, her old friend from the streets. Anger and hurt flashed across his features. Layla, you can't run from this, he shouted again, voice cutting through the chaos. Malik's gaze shifted between her and Derek, confusion knitting his brow. Who is this? He asked, his tone sharp as a blade. Panic swirled in Layla's chest. Derek, please, she pleaded, her voice trembling. This isn't what you think. The crowd leaned in closer, tension electrifying the air. Whispers grew louder. What had she done? What's going on? Malik preste, voice firme, yo sete. Derek stepped closer, ojos nareados. She doesn't just have a history. She's got secrets that go deep. She's tangled in something big, and now it's reaching out for her. Layla felt like the ground had dropped out. No, Derek, stop! Malik's expression hardened. What do you mean, tangled in something? Silence fell, thick enough to choke on. Layla isn't who you think she is, Derek said, voice low, menacing. She was involved in the heist over at that art gallery. The one that you know, the one with your stuff. Her heart hammered painfully in her chest. Was he really saying this? The heat of betrayal burned her cheeks. The crowd gasped collectively. Murmurs rippled through like a wave crashing against the shore. No, that's unbelievable, Malik said, eyes wide. I didn't do it, Layla shouted, panic rising in her throat. I wasn't there, I swear. Derek shrugged, a cruel smile on his lips. But you were, Layla, and now they're after you. Don't you see? You think hiding will work? They always come for what's theirs. Malik turned to her, fury and disbelief mingling in his gaze. You're a criminal? Her chest tightened painfully. No, I was wrongly accused. Derek scoffed, moving closer. And what about the money? Why did you need to pay off your old debts? You thought running to a billionaire would erase your past? Betrayal crashed down on her like a heavy wave. The whispers from the crowd thundered in her ears. The truth felt like shards of glass cutting into her heart. She wanted to tell Malik everything, but fear twisted her insides. I've changed, Malik, I swear, she cried out, tears spilling down her cheeks. Derek laughed. Change doesn't erase your fingerprints, Layla. They'll find you, and it's not just the police. You owe people more than you think. Malik stepped back, eyes narrowing. What else are you hiding? How deep does this lie go? It's not a lie, Layla shouted, voice breaking. She felt so small under the weight of their stares. People moved in closer, some pulling out their phones, capturing every second. Bright flashes blinding her, freezing moments she wished to escape. Malik's glimmer of kindness dimmed, replaced by suspicion. "If you don't tell me everything right now, he warned, tension mounting. The sirens grew louder in the background, drawing nearer, urgency creeping into every heartbeat. "Layla, you can't hide!" Derek shouted, his voice booming over the crowd. "Stop!" she yelled. But the panic roared in her ears. The walls closed in, spinning her world upside down. Then a loud crash echoed behind her. The guards were storming in, weapons drawn. "Step aside! We need Layla Sinclair!" Everything spun. Out of control. The crowd erupted into chaos, shocked voices mingling with screams. Layla's breath quickened. She took a step back. The truth clawed at her. Everything was unraveling. Malik's angry eyes searched her face, pleading for answers. "Tell me what's happening." "Please," she whispered, heart racing. "I didn't mean for any of this." But it was too late. The guards were closing in, the weight of her hidden past crashing down. And just as the crowd erupted, Layla caught Derek's gaze. He smirked, a look that said, this wasn't over. "Layla," he shouted through the chaos, "you can't escape them, or me." And with those words, everything she thought she knew shattered. Would she ever escape her past? Would Malik believe her? As the guards closed in, life twisted into a desperate mess. The door to her new life slammed shut. Chaos wrapped around Layla like a thick fog, tightening its grip. She could barely breathe as panic clawed at her throat. The guards moved in, boots pounding against the marble floor, a sound that echoed her racing heart. "Layla Sinclair," one shouted. The urgency in his voice made her stomach drop. Malik stood frozen. His sharp gaze darting between her and the unruly crowd. The mix of fury and confusion in his eyes was almost too much to bear. "Just tell me the truth," he snapped, voice cold. Derek grinned, a sinister twist to his lips. "You're cornered, Layla. Time to fess up." Sudden dread washed over her. "I can explain, I swear!" But no one was listening now. She felt swallowed by eyes that shimmered with judgment, their whispers wrapping around her like chains. Before she could say anything else, one of the guards stepped forward. His expression was hard, unyielding. "Step forward." Time seemed to slow. She wanted to scream, to run, but her feet felt rooted to the ground. "This isn't what it looks like," Layla yelled, desperation coloring her words. But Derek laughed. "Oh, it's exactly what it looks like. You think you can escape your past." The guard reached for her. Panic surged. She swatted his hand away, a rush of adrenaline fueling her fight-or-flight instinct. "No, don't touch me!" Her heart raced as she darted sideways, eyes searching for an escape. "Don't you dare!" Malik shouted, stepping in front of her. The fierce protectiveness in his tone made her chest tighten. "Get out of my way!" she cried, her voice breaking. But Derek took a step closer. "Let's see how tough you are when they haul you away." Then something strange happened. A bolt of fear raced through Derek's eyes. It was quick, like a shadow crossing his face. "Layla, run!" Malik shouted suddenly. "What? Why?" She glanced back at him. Confusion wrinkled his brow, but the urgency in his voice was clear. He was protecting her. But before she could move, the guard lunged. "You're not going anywhere." In that split second, Derek reached out, grabbing Layla's arm. "You owe me," she gasped. "What? What do you think? I had your back for years. Now you think walking away is okay?" Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. The words twisted into something dark. "I didn't ask for—" Suddenly, the situation exploded. Malik swung around, face pale, voice sharp. "What do you know about her, Derek?" The crowd held its breath. Derek sneered. "Oh, you have no idea. She's not just a poor girl trying to make a living. She was the one who got us all in trouble." A chorus of murmurs erupted. The weight of their stares pressed down on her. It felt like being poked with needles. Layla shook her head. "That's a lie! You're twisting it!" Malik's expression hardened. "Tell me the truth, Layla. Now." "I was never part of any—" But Derek drew in close, voice low. "You think they care? They're not interested in your sob story." Then everything shifted. A loud bang echoed as the gates burst open. More guards flooded in, weapons raised. "Layla Sinclair, you are under arrest," one shouted. Her world shattered. "No!" she screamed, eyes wide. The guards moved closer, and the crowd erupted into chaos. Malik's gaze turned steely. "You need to explain." But before she could answer, Derek leaned in, eyes blazing. "You're in deeper than you think. I know your secrets. They're not just coming for the money." Her stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" He stepped back, revealing a tattoo on his wrist, a symbol that made Layla's heart sink. It was the mark of the very people she thought had forgotten her. "What?" she whispered, realization hitting like a tidal wave. Malik's eyes sharpened, confusion replaced with shock. "What is that?" Derek smirked. "The truth? You're not the only one with ties to this mess, Layla." Everything spun around her. Her breath quickened. "Derek." "Let's just say," he said, a wicked grin spreading, "this is just the beginning." And at that moment, the lights flickered, plunging them all into darkness. Fear gripped Layla's heart as chaos erupted. The guards were shouting, the crowd screaming. She felt Malik reach for her hand, but she was lost in the swirl of confusion. What was happening? And how deep did this rabbit hole go? As the darkness closed in, she realized she had to decide. Who could she trust? And where would that trust lead her? Everything was unraveling. The lights went out. Panic shot through the crowd like a thunderclap. For a brief moment, everyone froze in darkness. Voices raised in confusion. "Where are you, Layla?" Malik's voice broke through the chaos, laced with worry. She felt the cold, hard grip of fear wrap around her. Heart racing, she searched for him in the pitch black. "Here! I'm here!" she yelled, her voice trembling. But the chaos was swallowing her whole. The crowd shoved, people shouted. Layla felt lost, trapped in a nightmare. Suddenly, the lights flickered back on. But something felt different. Layla stood facing Malik. His expression was hard, jaw clenched tight. Behind him, Derek smiled that same wicked grin. But it was then that she noticed a tattoo on Derek's wrist. It glowed slightly in the fluorescent light. "What is that?" Malik's eyes narrowed. Derek chuckled, a low, menacing sound. "Did you really think I'd let you go?" "What are you talking about?" Malik responded, anger rising in his voice. Then it happened. Derek pulled out a small device from his pocket. A remote? The crowd gasped. Everyone, meet the real Layla. With a press of a button, the screens hanging in the mansion flickered to life. Images flooded the screens. Layla, in different settings. Meeting with shady characters, exchanging cash, looking every bit the criminal Derek described. Her heart dropped. "No, no, that's not me," she shouted, panic gripping her throat. But the images didn't lie. There she was, caught in every wrong moment of her life. The crowd murmured, eyes wide, brows furrowed in disbelief. "Is that you?" Malik's voice trembled, hurt pouring into his words. "Please, Malik, listen. They're fake." But Malik stepped back, confusion clouding his gaze, hurt etching deeper lines on his face. "Liar! You must have planned all of this," he yelled, anger flashing through his eyes. "No, you don't understand." She reached for him. "I was set up. I had to survive." The crowd closed in. They wanted answers. Their judgment felt like 1,000 arrows piercing her skin. Derek laughed, delighted in her fall. "Survival? You left out the part where you betrayed your own." "What are you talking about? I never betrayed anyone," Layla screamed. But then she saw Derek's gaze flicker, a shadow crossing his face. The moment felt electric. "Don't play games, Layla. You owe me. You think wandering into a new life erases the old?" Suddenly, the tension shifted. There was something about his words, a crack in his tone that hinted at something deeper. But the guards were closing in, their eyes laser-focused on her. A guard shouted, "Layla Sinclair, step forward." She felt like the ground was sinking beneath her, breath quickening, heart racing. "Is there something you're not telling us?" the guard pressed. In the distance, she noticed someone else slipping. Through the crowd, a woman with a familiar, fierce stance. "Layla!" the woman called, voice slicing through the noise. When she stepped into the light, Layla's heart sank deeper. "Mom?" The world spun. She hadn't seen her mother in years, a ghost of her past. "Why are you here?" Layla's voice trembled, confusion mixing with dread. Her mother's eyes glinted with something cold, something that felt like betrayal. "I'm here to finish this," Derek smirked triumphantly. "See, you're not escaping this after all. You thought you could break free?" The whispers rose, the crowd pulsing with disbelief. Malik's eyes darted back and forth between them, the realization hitting him like a punch. "Are you serious?" he demandé, looking a Layla. "You knew? Las alas estaban cerrando. La verdad y los secretos se revelaban como una cuerda. Layla, la voz de Malik tenía una sangre pesada al interior del corazón. She cried, "Estoy terminando lo que hemos hecho, finalizando lo que no hemos estado." Dice, finalizando lo que sucedió. ¿Orgudez momento exposar todo lo que ella quería ingondar? Era el momento que todo juntaba. La habitación sentía como una nave, sentía amenazada con carga de la otra. To Derek, confusion whirled in her mind. She felt like she was in a nightmare that wouldn't end. "Finishing what we started?" Layla echoed, disbelief pouring from her voice. "What do you mean?" Her mother stepped forward, a fire in her eyes. You think you can hide forever, Layla? That your past wouldn't catch up with you? Derek grinned, leaning back slightly, relishing the chaos. It gets better. Your mother knew everything when she decided to come back. Every cell in Layla's body screamed in panic. What are you talking about? Mom, what's going on? She felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. You think I abandoned you? I fought to protect you from them, her mother shouted, her voice sharp enough to slice through the noise. Then a low hum echoed, vibrating through her chest. Some kind of device? Layla squinted as Derek reached into its pocket again, pulling out a small, glowing orb. "Wait!" she yelled, but it was too late. He pressed a button, and the screens flared up again, brighter this time. Layla's breath hitched, her worst fears laid bare. The images flickered. Her mother, young and vibrant, laughing in front of a dingy house. Then a man came into view, a tall figure in shadow, speaking with urgency. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. "No," Layla whispered as Derek continued. "Your mom was the leader. The whole operation, it started with her." Malik's expression shifted, shock ripping through his features. "What? I didn't ask for this." Layla's voice cracked. The weight of revelation was crushing her. Derek smirked, eyes glinting. "She was trying to cover for you, but it looks like that plan is up in smoke." The crowd murmured, their reaction shifting from curiosity to disgust. People exchanged glances, filled with pity and horror. "Layla, is this true?" Malik's voice was low, sharp as the edge of a knife. "No, you don't understand." She pressed her hands to her temples, trying to shut out the noise. Her mother shook her head, guilt etching her features. "I did what I had to do. But you, Layla, you chose to get involved." "What? Chose?" Layla's voice broke. "You think I chose this life? You think it was a choice to survive?" Derek stepped closer, his smile wider, more sinister. "Survival doesn't look good on you, does it? They'll always come for what is theirs." In an instant, the guards surged forward, voices booming as they shouted orders. Layla's heart dropped again. This was the end. The piece of paper slipped from her pocket, the last remnants of hope. It fluttered to the ground like a forgotten wish. "Layla," Malik reached for her, but the guards were almost there. "Trust you, but you need to tell me the truth right now." Tears streamed down her face, confusion blending with panic. She looked at Malik, desperately seeking understanding, but all she saw was doubt. "Tell me," he demanded, voice breaking. "I can't protect you if you won't trust me." Derek's laughter echoed in the space between them. "You thought this was about a wallet? It's bigger than all of us. Layla, your past is the storm, and it's here." And with that, the lights flickered again, plunging them into darkness once more. Silence descended, broken only by the sound of boots pounding against the ground. Someone shouted from the chaos, "We need her. Get her now." Layla squeezed her eyes shut, fighting the dread that threatened to drown her. Would she stand and fight, or would the secrets of her past drag her under? Sudden warmth grazed her arm. Malik's hand. "Hold on," he whispered, an ember of hope flickering in his tone. But then came the gunshot. A deafening crack pierced the tension, freezing her in place. And with that, everything changed. The sound of the gunshot ripped through the air like a thundercloud. Layla's heart stopped, fear clawing at her throat. Everything froze. Time didn't exist. She felt Malik's grip tighten, a warm presence amidst the freezing chaos. Derek's laughter echoed unsettlingly against the walls. But now it was tinged with panic. "What was that?" he shouted, his earlier confidence shattering. Then she sensed movement behind her, a figure darting through the crowd. In an instant, the lights flickered again, bathing them in an eerie glow. It was complete chaos. Everyone screamed, voices merging into a cacophony of fear. People stumbled back, eyes wide, gasping. Malik's hand jerked away from hers as he turned toward the noise, his body rigid with tension. "Layla!" he called. "Stay close." But she was already turning, eyes locked on the movement. A guard fell to the floor, clutching his leg. Blood seeped into the marble beneath him, a dark stain spreading. Her stomach turned. That's when it happened. Another shout from the shadows, and a woman stepped into the light. Her mother. "Stop! You need to run!" her mother yelled, wide-eyed, defining the chaos. "Mom, you? What?" Layla stumbled backward, confusion spiraling through her. The air felt heavy with dread. Malik's gaze flickered between Layla and her mother, a mix of confusion and anger painting his features. "Layla, please." Before her mother could finish, a sharp command sliced through the night. "Get the girl!" More guards surged forward, weapons raised. "They will shoot! Get out!" her mother screamed. Derek, still lurking close, suddenly shifted. He pulled out another device, this one larger, flickering with strange lights. "Wait! Derek, don't!" But he pressed a button, and the earth shook beneath them. A cascade of smoke erupted, thick and choking. Layla's lungs burned. She stumbled, lost in panic. She couldn't see, couldn't think. "Mom!" she shouted, trying to find her as the crowd surged. "Follow me!" her mother shouted through the haze, voice fiercely protective. But just then, Layla caught sight of Malik, his determination shining through the confusion. "I won't let them hurt you," he yelled over the chaos. In that moment, everything shifted again. Another gunshot, a different sound this time. The figure behind Malik, a guard, fell to the ground, and an unexpected shockwave hit them all. Everything shifted in an instant. The crowd gasped, and then a voice that sent shivers down Layla's spine cut through the smoke. It was a voice she hadn't heard in years, a voice that echoed betrayal. "Layla, just give it to me. We can end this now." Her heart dropped. The unmistakable tone of her father. "Dad!" she screamed, disbelieving. "What are you doing here?" The smoke cleared just enough to see him standing defiantly behind Derek, eyes fierce, face hardened. "Dad?" Malik's voice dripped with disbelief. "You?" "Get rid of the witnesses." "Derek," he ordered coolly, unbothered by the chaos around him. Layla felt her stomach drop as dread coursed through her veins. "What?" she whispered, taking a step back, realization dawning through the shock. The weight of truth landed like a boulder. Her past was crashing down around her, betraying her at all sides. "Get back!" Malik yelled, pulling Layla closer as the guards moved aggressively forward, tightening their grip. The environment was a full-blown battlefield, a haze of chaos, shouting, and gunfire. "Everything you've done, it led me here," Layla's voice cracked. The sting of betrayal burned. "Layla, no, it's not what you think," her mother shouted. Derek's smirk grew wider, darkness dancing in his eyes. "Now, let's see how strong this family really is, shall we?" They were locked in a violent storm. Confusion, fear, solidarity slipping through her fingers. "Who do you choose?" her father asked, voice dripping with malice. Suddenly, everything turned white. The noise, the pain, staggered into silence. All eyes fixed on Layla, waiting. The silence was deafening. What could she choose? "Don't leave me, Layla." Malik's voice sliced through, low and terrified. Would she side with her father, the ghost of her past, or fight for a future she barely had? "Choose, Layla," her father's voice rang out again. Everything hinged on this moment. And in the silence, the darkness wrapped around them. The silence was almost unbearable. Layla's heart hammered, a wild drum against her ribs. Her eyes darted around, catching every anxious face in the crowd. Malik's eyes bore into hers, worry written on every feature. Her father's dark silhouette loomed, a specter from her past, demanding a choice that felt impossible. "Who do you choose?" His voice wrapped around her like a vice. Just then, the guard who had fallen let out a pained groan, shaking her back to reality. Layla's pulse raced. She had to act. But the weight of her family was dragging her under. Suddenly, Malik stepped forward. "You don't have to do this, Layla." His voice cracked with desperation. The tension surged. "You don't know my father. He's dangerous," Layla shouted, her throat tightening. "Dangerous or just misunderstood?" Derek sneered, shifting beside her father, the smirk on his face chilling her to the bone. Her mother yelled, her fierce eyes glowing with an intensity Layla rarely saw. "This isn't the way. Layla, you can't just run. You have to face him." Layla's chest tightened. "Face him? He's a criminal." She felt hot tears welling. "And so are you." "Family is complicated," her mother shot back, her voice low. "We did what we had to. It's in our blood." Malik's face shifted, confusion turning to anger. "What do you mean, in your blood?" Just then, the lights flickered again. "Shut up, all of you!" Derek shouted, panic flooding his expression. "Layla, this is more than you think." And in that instant, an explosion rattled the mansion. The ground shook violently. Dust and debris fell from the ceiling. The crowd panicked, screaming, rushing for the exits. "Get down!" Malik shouted, pushing Layla behind him. He shielded her as chaos ensued. Amidst the tumult, Layla glanced at her father. "What did you do?" she yelled over the din. The terror in his eyes flickered, a hint of something off. "It was Derek. He—" But he never finished. A figure appeared out of the smoke, tall and commanding. A woman, cloaked in shadows, stepped forward. Layla's breath hitched. "Who is that?" Derek's face blanched. No, it can't be." The woman stepped closer, and the moment was electric. "Oh, it can be, Derek," she hissed, her eyes gleaming with malice. "You thought you could take everything from me?" "Mom!" Layla could barely whisper, her heart racing. This was another storm brewing, one far worse than anything she had faced before. "Layla," her mother started, voice shaking. "I didn't think we'd see her here." "Who is she to you?" Malik asked, his voice edged with danger. They say blood is thicker than water, but she's the darkness in our lives, Layla's mother replied, eyes darting back to Derek. Panic surged through Layla, drowning out the words. What? Did you think this was just about you? Derek's voice dripped with venom. It's deeper than you know. This is a war, and you're the unwitting pawn. Pawn? That word sent shivers down her spine. Layla's world tilted, and unease settled at the pit of her stomach. The woman's smirk widened. You see, Layla, Derek isn't just your friend. He's been sent to bring you back. Back where? Layla's heart dropped. Where your loyalty lies, the woman said, eerily calm. But now you have to choose. Side with us, or risk losing everything. Layla's breath quickened. She glanced at Malik, his fight fading as uncertainty clouded his eyes. I can't. Don't underestimate what you're caught in, Derek said, stepping forward. Everything you thought was true is about to blow up in your face, the woman warned, cold and terrifying. And before Layla could fully grasp it, the room shook again. Run! Malik shouted, eyes wide with dread. But as they turned, another explosion rocked the mansion. The windows shattered. Smoke filled the air, choking them. Layla stumbled, her mind racing. Get to the exits, Malik urged, his voice steely. He grabbed Layla's arm. We can't stay. But her eyes were glued to the woman. There was something hauntingly familiar. Layla, Malik pleaded. Then it hit her like ice water. She's not just any ghost. She's part of the family, isn't she? The world felt like it was falling apart. Layla, Malik's urgency sliced through the haze. But before she could fully comprehend, la mujer se levantó. Ecopitó a Layla hasta el corazón. Choosing es solo el inicio. Y con eso la oscuridad los engolpió. El caos comenzó a sentarse con el humo, revelando la descontinencia del estadio. El corazón de Layla se revolcaba de tensión, pero sentía un pulsarte ineplinado que intolerable. Su voz parecía con pelos proféticos. I don't know what to do. It's all coming apart. He turned to her, determination solidifying his features. We fight back, Layla. We expose them for who they are. No one else can make that choice for you. Her past swirled like a storm in her mind. The figures from her childhood haunted her, while the crowd reeled in shock from the chaos. But she focused on Malik's fierce gaze. He was right. Hiding didn't work. Everyone, Malik shouted, voice steady, cutting through the noise. Listen, Layla is not the criminal you think. We've all been played. The crowd turned toward them, confusion etched on their faces. But the whispers were starting to settle. Derek, face pale and eyes wide, stepped back. You're making a mistake, Malik. She's guilty. She always was. Layla's heart twisted. No, she cried. I was never part of any of this. You have to believe me. But then, her father stepped forward, a cruel smirk on his lips. You think you can just toss your past aside, Layla? Your blood. You belong with us. Tears stung her eyes. I refuse to be part of this. I'm not like you. The tension snapped as the guards shifted restlessly. Move aside or we will take her, one shouted, weapon drawn. Let us go, Malik yelled, stepping protectively in front of Layla. You don't even know the truth. She felt sheer panic rising like bile in her throat. Malik, she whispered, trembling, fear creeping in. But just then, her mother found her voice, rising above the chaos. "Layla, you have to choose. We can fight together." "Fight?" Her father laughed darkly, eyes sharp. "You think this is a battle you can win?" A surge of anger coursed through Layla. "I won't let you control me anymore. None of it." In that moment, something in Malik shifted. For a brief second, he nodded as if understanding the gravity of her words. "Let's take the chance," he said, facing the guards. "Let's show everyone who the real criminals are." But Derek's laughter filled the air. "You think you can just walk away? The past will always find you." "Shut up!" Layla snapped, frustration fueling her resolve. The guards hesitated, eyes darting uncertainly. It was now or never. "Follow us," she shouted. Adrenalina surgiendo. "We'll put an end to this." In síncroni, Malik y Layla tomaron de correr, recorriendo el caos. Encaran debajo de las lágrimas, lenguas liberando por entrecerres como electricidad. Con cada paso, Layla podía sentir el peso de sus secretos empezando a levantarse. Esquivaron para atrás la salida de la mansión. Whispers of the crowd behind them, shocked and confused. Just as they reached the door, footsteps echo behind. Malik tornó, ojos arregados. "No las tengan para capturarnos." Pero justo ahí, explosión de garras, de vuelta sonó. Otro tiro en de camino. Esta vez, su gaste leupe cesada. "Change! Move!" Malik shouted, and they burst through the exit, into the night air, gasping for breath. The street was just beyond. They dashed toward freedom. When Layla felt the moment, her past finally behind her, she had Malik by her side, the weight of her family's legacy beginning to lift. As they ran into the LA night, adrenaline pulsing through her veins, Malik grabbed her hand tighter, his voice steady beside her. "We'll find a way to clear your name, Layla." Together, but just as hope began to swell, a shadow loomed in the distance, a familiar silhouette. With the chaos around them, Layla stopped, fear rippling through her. "Derek," she whispered, knowing it was far from over. Yet this time she felt stronger, championing her fate, and maybe, just maybe, finding a way back to the life she wanted. In that moment, her determination soared, and with Malik beside her, she whispered fiercely, "Let's end this." But would the shadows ever let them go? You must subscribe right now. Don't miss the next exclusive stories that dive even deeper into their lives. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments with your reactions and theories about this jaw-dropping finale. And don't wait another second to share this with 5 friends who absolutely need to see how it all unfolds. Your support is everything.